Hello, everyone, and welcome to Weather Impact Live on this Saturday. And it is a weather impact alert day because of the heat. It is hot, but it's dangerously hot. We have feels like temperatures for some of us that will range all the way up to 115 degrees. So it just started at 11 a.m., so right now, and it goes until 8 p.m. So we need to, of course, stay hydrated. Grab your water bottle right now. Grab it. Take a sip with me. Here we go. Staying nice and hydrated. We're staying ahead of the heat. We're not going to be heat exhausted. Definitely no heat stroke. So who could see up to 115? That would be areas in the extreme heat warning where our feels like temperatures are up to 115 for Camden, Glenn, and Brantley counties. Those are the areas that could potentially get all the way up to 115. But the rest of us, we're really no better. We're all under that heat advisory for feels like temperatures up to 112 degrees. Let's take a look at our temperatures right now as of 11 a.m. with the recording of this. And we have temperatures sitting in the 80s for everyone, the middle 80s for most of us, some of us getting up towards the upper 80s right now. Hey, Lake City, you're lucky at 82 degrees. But let's take a look at our feels like temperature. And we are pretty much all in the 90s. Lake City feeling like 88. It's 100 degrees right now in Keystone Heights, 97 in Placa for the feels like temperature. So again, we do have the heat alerts for all of us, and the temperature is already really starting to ramp up. Rain is the only thing that would really cool us down. We're watching for some of that rain to develop later on today, but overall our rain chances stay very low. So if you are heading out to the pool, I mean, that's a great way to cool down. We'll have to keep an eye on the sky, keep our ears and eyes open for any thunder, because we will have to move inside quickly if we do hear it, because these storms could be strong. But besides that, it is just scorching hot. High temperatures near 96 degrees. That heat wave continues. And then, as we mentioned, the feels like temperatures getting up into the triple digits. If you're going to the beach today, we have a moderate rip current risk if you're getting into the water to cool down. So please always swim near a lifeguard. And then for boaters, our Hajjaba was reporting on this all morning, but there are some areas, one was near the Kingsley Plantation, that's picking up on some red tide. So have to watch out for that. Okay, so as for these rain chances, I think that here in these early afternoon hours, we're mostly staying dry. We've had a little bit of activity try to show on models near the I-75 corridor. Then later in the afternoon into the evening, maybe a few more near I-95. But you can see most of us stay dry today. Now, where these showers are showing, remember, there's a lot of heat, a lot of energy out there. So one shower could become a thunderstorm that could pop into a big, strong thunderstorm. So we'll just stay aware of that, and of course, stay away from the thunder. But most of us are going to stay dry and therefore sweltering hot. And so maybe you're heading out to the Jumbo Shrimp game tonight, 6:35 p.m. first pitch. Guess who's throwing the first pitch? Chief Meteorologist Lewis Turner. And those temperatures are going to be in the middle 90s to start our 6 o'clock hour, falling down into the lower 90s within the 6 o'clock hour, but still heat index values feeling like the upper 90s to low hundreds. And yes, those rain chances are low. Now, overnight tonight, lows back into the 70s, so it's another muggy and mild start to our day. And then in the afternoon, temperatures heat right back up into the middle 60s. Oh my gosh, I wish. Into the middle 90s. Heat index values will continue to soar. In fact, I think that's even showing a little too cool. I think we'll be on either side of 110 degrees for our feels like temperature. A few storms possible yet again. We're going with that 30%. So let's take another look at our future radar. We're going to zoom past today, going to tomorrow. And for the morning hours, looking good. Afternoon, maybe a little bit of activity starting to try to bubble up more in southeast Georgia maybe, but overall those rain chances staying a bit lower again on our Sunday. What about Monday? Man, this forecast keeps repeating itself, except for Monday, we might add a degree on top of that with a high near 97. Feels like temperatures getting up into the triple digits once again, around 110 plus degrees. That dangerous heat continues, and we have a 30% chance of rain. So a few showers and storms are possible, but again, most of us staying dry, which means we stay hot. But I don't want anyone to really wish for the rain, because the thunderstorm activity that pops up, those storms as mentioned could be strong to severe. That's going to repeat itself through the upcoming work week. So the next 7 days, hotter than normal temperatures. Usually we're around 91. These temperatures are hotter than that. And we have the chance for a few storms later on in the afternoon and evening hours. Let's get a check on the tropics. I have good news as of the 8 a.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center. That area over the Caribbean, 0% chance of tropical formation. Now, that system still bringing some gusty winds and some heavy rain to parts of the Caribbean, to some of those islands, but it's not going to develop into anything tropical. And that tropical wave behind it, now only a 10% chance of formation. It's going to, as it approaches the Lesser Antilles, encounter some dry air and wind shear, and so it's just not going to form. So only a 10% chance of development. We have no local concerns when it comes to the tropics. But a part of the United States, they're bracing for tropical impacts right now. You can see the Pacific is active. Two systems out there, two areas where we can see possible formation, then two systems. And the one that we are focusing on is called Lala. Tropical storm Lala impacting Hawaii. So you see where it's flashing right there in your Honolulu, all that blue? That is a tropical storm warning in effect, but the red is a hurricane warning. And that's because this is expected to really strengthen. So right now it has winds of 65 miles an hour. But as it passes the Big Island or over the Big Island, it will have sustained winds of 70 miles an hour. That is a very strong tropical storm. You only need winds of 74 to become a hurricane. So it will be a very strong tropical storm impacting portions of Hawaii, and they are preparing. We're going to hear more out of Hawaii here coming up after the commercial break. But for now, just to wrap it up here, again, no local concerns when it comes to the tropics. Our concern, the heat. We are all under heat alerts. We are all under a heat advisory. Feels like temperatures up to 112, but for Brantley, Glenn, and Camden counties in southeast Georgia, that is an extreme heat warning for feels like temperatures up to 115 degrees. So extremely hot, extremely humid, making it dangerous outside. And that is why we have this weather impact alert in effect from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. We're going to do it again tomorrow for those dangerous heat index values. Please stay hydrated. Please make sure that you're taking your breaks in the shade and in the AC if you're out and about. I mean, maybe you're golfing. I know it is a weekend, but we really got to bring the fans with us. We have to bring water and electrolytes, and we got to get to the AC if we can, or at least stay in the shade with these hotter than normal temperatures that will continue. Okay, so we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to take a look at weather all around the world. We're talking about Hawaii and Tropical Storm Lala. We're going to take a look at Mexico and the seaweed situation, some flooding for parts of the country, some extreme heat, and how it's impacting dogs as well. All of that coming up after the break. All right, let's talk about Lala, which is impacting Hawaii. That is a tropical storm out there in the central Pacific. So we have some video for you on Hawaii's preps and the preps before Lala. So Honolulu officials Friday held a press conference on ocean safety as Tropical Storm Lala nears Hawaii. We're going to pause that video really quick. That would be, so there's some video before we listen to the SOT, I believe, but Honolulu's mayor was joined by city officials, including leaders from the Ocean Safety Department on Waikiki Beach. They urged the public to be cautious of Tropical Storm Lala as it approaches the islands over the weekend. Lala is expected to bring hazardous ocean conditions, also some very strong hurricane-force wind gusts, up to 25 inches of rainfall possible for parts of the Big Island, Hawaii Island, and the tropical storm could become a hurricane. It will get very close to it as it moves over the island on over the weekend, really. So we have some sound here, starting with the Honolulu mayor, Rick Blangiardi.
We can't control the storm, but we can't control how we prepared. And I can promise you, we've prepared very thoroughly this week across all sectors. And the other thing is that, the best preparation happens in anticipation. So, I'm asking everybody to do what you have to do. Be smart, be safe.
We are expecting an increase in surf starting tomorrow as the storm comes south of us and then passes the island. The surf will come up very quickly. We're going to see ocean conditions and currents, waves change very quickly and unexpectedly. So our message today is just a word of caution. We want people to be prepared, be respectful, and just know that conditions can change at any time. Obviously, we will warn all the swimmers that are in the water, and we'll try to educate them and say, hey, it's not safe for you today. We really think you shouldn't be going in the water. And that might very well likely happen based on what we're expecting.
And that second person behind the mayor was Kurt Lager, Ocean Safety Department chief there. And then let's talk about travelers to Hawaii. So the state and county government officials have activated emergency response hubs in response to Lala. Widespread warnings and watches have also been activated across the state. Flights were still departing for Hawaii Friday, even with Lala looming. Passengers in San Jose were still boarding flights to various islands in Hawaii. They say they're looking forward to their vacations and following weather updates, and that they aren't too worried. So here's a listen from someone who's coming in from San Francisco.
They're the best airline. I see my dad, so I'm going to go. And, I trust Hawaii Airlines, right? They're the best airline.
And they say it's okay.
They say it's okay, yeah.
Okay, so travel experts note that if your flight gets canceled by bad weather, you do have a right to refund or rebooking. Okay, so now we're going to leave Hawaii. We're going to come back to the continental United States. We're going to talk about Indiana. We had historic flooding in parts of east central Indiana. More heavy rain and flash flooding are expected today. And so Maggie Vespa has a report from Noblesville.
Hey there from Noblesville. People here in Indiana just can't catch a break. All this flooding here is new overnight. This is from the White River, which is rising here, basically kind of in the suburbs of Indianapolis. This as authorities near Muncie confirm a woman has now been killed in these floods, they believe, swept away in her car by raging floodwaters. We have seen over the last few days, really across the state, several people trapped in their cars needing to be rescued. We've met people who have had to evacuate their homes, coming back to find their homes flooded and or largely destroyed in a lot of cases. People telling us they smell things like gas in the water, and officials warning people to stay out of the water in cities that have been flooded, saying it has things like chemicals, human sewage, objects underneath. There are a lot of dangers lurking beneath. And then a big story in Albany, Indiana. 19-year-old Matthew Morey is still missing after authorities confirmed he jumped into the raging Mississinawa River with 3 friends Wednesday night, seemingly just looking to go for a swim. And they, officials believe, underestimated the current. We talked to his mom, who was just praying for a miracle for him to be found alive. And back here in Noblesville, again, all of this new, officials pleading with people not to drive through floodwaters if they come upon it, and if their homes are in affected areas, basically to evacuate now. I'll send it back to you.
Oh, awful, awful stuff. I hope they find that young boy. Okay, so now we're gonna leave the country. Let's go down south to Mexico. Mexico has record seaweed. Take a look at this. Mexico is scrambling to contain a record surge of foul-smelling sargassum along its Caribbean coast as the brown seaweed swamps beaches in the heart of the country's tourism belt. Officials in Quintana Roo, which is home to resort destinations like Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and Tulum, have cleared more than 115,000 tons of this seaweed so far this year, according to data released this week, a figure that already exceeds last year's record of 92,783 tons. The haul also puts the state on track to blow past earlier projections for 2026 and deepen what officials have described as one of the worst sargassum seasons on record. Authorities have previously estimated that about 119,000 tons could wash ashore this year. Scientists say the outsized blooms are being fueled by a mix of nutrient-rich runoff, including fertilizer-linked nitrogen and phosphorus, particularly from agricultural powerhouses like Brazil, and shifting ocean conditions. The seaweed's buildup on beaches can drive tourists away as it releases hydrogen sulfide gas as it rots, and that irritates nasal airways. The season could last until mid-October, though forecasts remain uncertain, said Oscar Rabora, which is Quintana Roo's environment minister. For workers charged with clearing the beaches, the seaweed has become an almost constant presence. Sargassum has increasingly inundated parts of the Caribbean over the past decade, fouling once clear beaches and threatening the tourism industry that underpins much of this region's economy. The companies say creating a market for the algae could help offset the high cost of collection. Mexico's Environment Ministry has previously identified dozens of projects that could turn sargassum into products including fertilizers, biofuels, and bioplastics. Backing for commercializing sargassum remains limited, however, with most public funds still aimed at cleanup. You can see how badly they need all of that cleanup. Oh, so much seaweed. We know how annoying it is. We deal with that too here. All right, one more package before we head to another commercial break. This is going to be out of Alabama. This is from our NBC affiliate in Montgomery, Alabama. My old stomping grounds, WSFA. As summer temperatures soar into the upper 90s, pet care experts are warning families that the extreme heat can quickly turn deadly for four-legged companion animals. So Rosie Langella reports.
Tongues out, panting galore. It's hot for our furry friends.
This time of the year, it's so quick how a dog can go from running and playing and enjoying themselves to all of a sudden, it becoming a life or death situation.
Brandon Stoudemeyer is the owner of River Paws Pet Resort in Montgomery. It's a resort, doggy daycare, boarding, and grooming facility that can sometimes see up to 100 dogs a day. Now, with temperatures in the upper 90s, Stoudemeyer and his staff are cutting outdoor time and moving dogs inside.
Time-wise, we're reducing the amount of time that they're exposed to the elements. We're spending a lot more time of indoor play areas here in the air conditioning. Just like it is too much for humans to be outside for extended periods of time, arguably even more so for the dogs.
Stoudemeyer says that the ages of your pets play a big factor when it comes to heat exhaustion, with older pets being more susceptible. He also says different dog breeds, flat-faced breeds like Shih Tzus, Boston Terriers, and Pugs are especially at risk.
This time of the year when we get 90 degrees or above, they truly cannot spend more than about 5 minutes outside without struggling to breathe.
If your pet must be outside, Stoudemeyer says provide shade, fans, and plenty of fresh water, and know the warning signs of heat exhaustion.
Pale gums, particularly dogs that are panting very heavily, dogs that have a stagger to them. Those are telltale signs of heat exhaustion is quickly creeping up. Find air conditioning as soon as possible.
All right, thank you, Rosie, for that report. If your pet is showing those warning signs, get them inside with water available, and then you can call your vet for further help. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's time for Malcolm Minute. was asking if that was your water bottle, not to make you throw it.
Oh, that's okay.
I was going to cheers you.
Oh.
It's Malcolm Minute, and I'm so proud of you that you brought your water in.
Yes.
That's exactly what we need
Dangerously
to all
hot.
be doing. Oh, so yes, proud of you for having your water. Sorry,
Yes,
did not
got
mean
to.
to make you throw it on the
It's
floor.
okay. It's water.
Oh, how are you? What's
I'm
been
good.
new?
I'm pretty good. It's going on a
Okay.
nice Saturday. It's looks like great weather out there, but I know it's really hot. But yeah, like I know, the heat is the heat. We're in Florida, but I actually had a question for you, Lee.
Oh, I love that.
I know you just got done talking about the tropics, but I'm just curious to know like how the Saharan dust plays a role in just tropical formation itself. Like those
Awesome.
two waves out there. I don't know if the dust is like prohibiting it from forming like further, like strengthening, and just curious of like how it's able to travel like across the ocean.
I think that is
It's pretty interesting
such
to me.
a good question. Okay, so you can see there, the chance of formation keeps dropping with both of these systems. They encountered dry air and strong upper level winds. So it was more of like strong winds that kind of tore these apart. But yes, you're absolutely right. Saharan dust can inhibit anything from forming. So I do have a graphic here that we can take a look at how the dust will move over the next couple of days.
Okay.
And there is some coming off of Africa.
Oh, yeah.
And so the Saharan desert, it's massive.
Right.
And so it gets picked up by these strong winds. So we talked about strong upper level winds. That's what's ripping apart these tropical waves out there right now. But it will also pick up this dust and throw it into the atmosphere. And then, I mean, if you think about it, if you're going on a run and it's super dry outside, and you like feel it in your throat, you're like start
Yeah.
coughing. And that's kind of what it does to these systems. It like a hurricane obviously needs moisture, needs water, and it
Yeah.
dries it out, it chokes it out, and it just completely makes it fall apart because it's like choking as it's trying to move across the Atlantic.
Sure.
Did that answer your
Okay.
question?
No, yeah. I love the
Okay.
analogy for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. And I know Robert, his weather question of the day yesterday for GMJ was like what storm or hurricane was like on this date. Like I think it was like 22 years ago. And I was wondering if there was any more like, oh, this day in history, there was this hurricane. But I think the one yesterday was Hurricane, I was going to say my last name, but I don't think it was that.
Harvey?
I forgot that fact. Okay,
Harvey
yeah, I
was
gonna say Harvey.
was a big one in Texas. You know what? This is great trivia, and
yeah.
I am trying to.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
There's
I'm
always
sorry
going to
put you on the
be a storm on
Yeah.
around this time. There's going to be something. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. The last days, like the 29th of August, is huge because we had Katrina and we had Ida. I think like that's really big. But no, you're.
Sorry to
I'm
put you
find
on the
this.
spot.
No,
yeah.
that's a good topic. We only have 30 seconds. I'm afraid I'm not gonna find this in time.
Oh, no.
No.
The pressure is on.
That was great.
No, it's
I think
okay.
Faye was a little bit later in August. Well,
I mean, yeah, if there aren't any notable ones, then, hey, that's
I'm sure
good.
there
That's
is,
a
and
good
I'm
thing.
sure I just don't know. All right, we are being wrapped already. No. Okay, everyone, grab
It's
your
all
water
good.
bottles with us.
Yes.
Let's take a sip of water. Let's do it right now. Let's do
Definitely.
it. Stay hydrated today. Everyone stay safe, stay hydrated, and no immediate concerns in the tropics. So that's good.
That is great. You guys have a good one.